5. Demetrius Young, Ward 6. City Manager Sharon Subadan. City Clerk Sonia Talbert. And City Attorney Nathan Davis. This is the City of Albany Commission meeting.
I would ask the city clerk to call the roll, please.
Ward 1.
Yes.
2. Ward 2. Ward 3. Ward 3. Ward 4.
Yes, here.
Ward 5. Ward 5. Ward 6. Ward 6.
I can see him. Can't hear him.
Commissioner Young, can you hear us? You muted.
And Mayor Newman here.
So can we get Commissioner Young?
He may not hear us.
No, obviously you cannot. Okay, thank you. Okay. Commissioner Young.
City Manager can't hear us through the cleaner. Sharon, can you hear us? Sharon. Yeah, I can hear you now. Commissioner Young? Can you hear me, Sharon? Okay, Commissioner Young, can you hear? Yes.
Commissioner Fuller? Okay. Madam Clerk, Commissioner Fuller is on the line. Commissioner Fletcher? Commissioner Langstaff? Madam Clerk, would you read the resolution? Yes, ma'am.
There will be a special call city commission meeting, virtual meeting on Friday, April 24, 2020 at 8 o'clock a.m. The purpose of the meeting is for the Mayor and Board of Commissioners to encourage residents of Albany to continue to shelter in place. Sincerely, is signed by City Manager Sharon Subadan. Also Mayor Lodoro and also Commissioner Chad Warbington. Mayor Pro Tem Howard, Matt Fuller, B.J. Fletcher, Bob Langstaff, and Demetrius Young were notified via email.
I guess Commissioner Young called for the meeting. Would you like to address this issue?
Yes, sir. Call for this meeting was basically allow the commission to take a stand in terms of we know what's best for all of us. We know what the order that's coming out from the governor. And I think we all understand that when is not ready necessarily to be fed with
Thank you, Commissioner Young. I would entertain a motion to adopt the resolution.
I would, move to adopt the resolution as, by the city attorney.
Do I have?
You want me to read the
Yes, ma'am.
The resolution is encouraging the residents of Albany to continue to shelter in place as set forth in Governor Brian Kemp's executive order of April 2nd, 2020.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion. Commissioner Young, would you like to speak to the resolution again, or have you said your piece?
Like I said, I think the resolutions, self, I think we need to, and as a body, need to be, and that we understand all that, encourage residents to stay shelter in place, we want to encourage business owners to, as, know them have done, and, keep their businesses closed, so we do not see a further spreading of the virus.
Commissioner Howard, Mayor Pro Tem, you have any comments?
Mayor, how would this be disseminated to the business in the city of Albany, Georgia, County?
I could ask the city manager about that. I would think we could certainly put it on the public access channel and release to the media so that the media would be able to cover it if they wish. But the city manager can address that, I think.
Good morning, yes, we can send it out on the release, we can make it available on our public access channel and on our Facebook page. And, it can go out along with other simplified information that we're gonna be sending out to our businesses and to our residents about the current order, as well as specifically what is in the resolution.
Thank you, ma'am.
And Mayor, just to follow. Ms. Superdan, can you hear me? If by any chance some of these businesses are not in compliance, would it be a fine or citation?
I guess that's really a question for Nathan. I read through the new order that came out late last night. The new order does give local control on, policing and enforcing, but since this resolution speaks to the April 2nd, I'm not really sure, what that does. That's really, I think, a question for Nathan.
Okay, Nathan.
Yes, sir. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. The city police would be entitled to enforce the order under the state law, the governor's order. And, you know, the governor did provide it as original order, which I think is still in effect, that before they actually give them a citation from municipal court, there should be some sort of warning. I think was the phrase the governor's order used. Thank you.
Could I speak to that? Mayor Pro Tem, I think we're confusing two things. We just have been presented with the 26-page executive order. That is what would be enforceable. Our resolution today is merely advisory, and it's sort of a proclamation from the city commission that we don't believe Albany is prepared to proceed to the next phase. Well, the first phase of reopening at this time, we're encouraging our businesses and residents to continue to comply with the shelter-in-place order that was issued on April 2nd. Is that correct, Commissioner Young? Okay, so, I mean, we need to keep those two things straight. We all have the resolution, but for the public, we were just presented this morning with the guidelines the governor has issued for restaurants and theaters and those businesses that will be allowed to open up on Monday.
So I
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. It is a statement. I think other local governments, Athens, Clark County, and I believe maybe the city of Atlanta and DeKalb County have issued, the last two being like Dougherty County, particularly hard hit with the coronavirus.
Okay. And to the mayor, can you elaborate? We can have a better understanding when we say this public health state of emergency, which will go until May 13, 2020, and the shelter in place. Will you make the distinction between those two?
I don't have them in front of me, Mayor Pro Tem, but I do recall that the governor's order, the most restrictive provisions were to expire on April 30th. And then there were other provisions which would continue until May 13th. And what has happened in the last few days is that the governor has shortened that deadline from April 30th because much of the action that he's taken would have otherwise. And that's basically what we're doing here. We're asking our citizens to continue to comply with the shelter-in-place order that was entered on April 2nd. When I say citizens, I'm also including businesses as well. Commissioner Young, do you wish to speak to that?
Yes, sir. And specifically to those business owners that the governor outlined, hair salons, nail salons, we know specifically here in Austin, we have a number of, especially African Americans, a number of barbers, shops, a number of hair salons. It is really almost untenable that they don't abide by the restrictions of social distancing in terms of PPE. A lot of these businesses do not have even have the PPE on hand to protect themselves and protect their customers. It is, just a situation where we're being told that it's going to be safe to go back out there, and it's really not, we're not prepared to do this, and already with the number of cases, we have over 2,000 cases of, and likely with more testing, will number may even, and again, specifically for the African American community, it's still a very dangerous situation for everyone to go back into these businesses as if everything was okay. I think we just need to say to the community, say strongly to the business community and those who will go out there and want to patronize and be in these businesses that Albany is not ready. We understand that from our situation, we understand that regarding the system we have in terms of testing, not having contact tracing, where we can isolate this virus, and I think those benchmarks that the mayor has mentioned have not been reached. And until we can reach those benchmarks, we shouldn't be from under the governor's original order, April 2nd, even from the president saying that, he thinks this is too early for Georgia. I was hoping that the governor would backtrack yesterday, but it seems that he's decided to maybe even double down and from his analysis.
I think we've lost Commissioner Young, the audio. He's what? Can you hear me, Commissioner Young? Could we notify Commissioner Young his microphone muted? With that, we'll come back. We'll,
There it is.
there. Yes, sir.
Basically what I was saying, I think we need to, with the number of cases that we have in the community, these businesses that are opening back up are leading businesses, at least here in Albany, that are American patronized. I think it's a very dangerous situation. The barbers, the salon stylists that I know that at least in my ward do not have the wherewithal to garner all the PPE, especially not today. Between the time the governor released his order and Friday, not enough time for them to find the types of PPE and the amount of PPE they would need to protect themselves and to protect their customers. So, they're going to have a compliance issue straight away. If they open up today, I guarantee you, if we went out and the guidelines that the governor has placed out there, they wouldn't be able to comply. And I think there's just too much uncertainty when we go about even policing the guidelines that the governor has set forth. So it's a very dangerous situation for us here in Albany, and I just think we need to, say directly to the citizens that is unsafe right now in Albany, Georgia, to be in restaurants, to be in barbershops, to be in salons. It's an unsafe situation.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem, any other questions? Comments?
That's it, man. Thank you.
Commissioner Fuller, do you have anything to add? Commissioner Fletcher's not here. Commissioner Warmington?
Yeah, I'll have a few things to add. One part of this is really just an update for the commission as well. Certainly, we are resolving for citizens to shelter, to continue sheltering, and that's and also we're resolving, to ask our business community to think twice instead of, the governor has given us a green light. Really, we ask our businesses to kind of take at least a yellow light, if not a red light, to think twice to make sure, as Commissioner Young said, you've got all the PPE, everything required to open and still be in compliance. So one of the things the mayor has tasked me with, and I just wanted to update everybody, even with anybody that's watching this, is as a city, I believe, since we do have the numbers that are different from imbalance in the state, it's incumbent upon us as leaders to go above and beyond, to communicate, to ensure businesses understand the guidelines and the order. And so what Sharon has identified several staff to work along with me, and really yesterday we started really digging into the guidelines of each of these sectors, trying to come up with one-page documents, some clarity. And really the first group that we tackled is the cosmetology group. And I'm excited that tonight I was able to secure the chairwoman of the professional licensing board of hair salons and barbers, cosmetology. And we're going to do an event tonight. It's kind of a guinea pig just to see if we have some participation, some people listening, but really we want her to explain to us and to our community the guidelines and really go through them in detail to make sure people understand what's required PPE if they are choosing to open either today or next week or in 2 weeks, whenever a business decides to open. So just want to make sure the commission knows that we're working on that. Staff has been very helpful. We've got some great things coming out. And actually, I believe some of this stuff might even be able to be used across the state because we are being very aggressive at developing some of these communication items. We had a meeting yesterday with restaurant owners, And it's funny, everything we were working on with staff yesterday, restaurant owners started asking the same questions. Hey, can we have this? Can we have guidelines? Can we have help? Can we have somebody from the state give us? And so, restaurants will be the next group that we'll start working on. With the governor's orders last night, he gave more details about churches, place of work. Now, everything's in the 26 pages. And so I think for us as city leaders, I want to continue to help disseminate a 26-page document into the different sectors of our community so that all business owners, if they are contemplating or thinking that it's time to open or they might want to open, or if they're, they truly understand what they're taking on when they do that. And so the chamber's working along with his staff, and so more will be coming out about that, but I just want to make sure the commission knows that that's some work that's going on behind the scenes, and it's going to take a lot of staff help. One of the great resources we have, and it was talked with the restaurant owners yesterday, is we've got databases of all the businesses. And so we've already pulled the business licenses for all the salons, barbers, nail salons. I think it's in the 300 range. I forgot the exact number. So we've got addresses, emails. We can send correspondence directly to our businesses to make sure they're, some may be engaged in social media, some may be engaged in platforms like we're on right here, but then there may be a good portion that's not engaged in, getting information. So we want to use postal service mail, we want to use email, we want to use social media, use everything we can to ensure that this information is in the hands of our businesses. And our business license database is a great place to even start. So, I just want to make sure everybody knew that was going on behind the scenes, and I appreciate Sharon and Barry and staff that started working on that with us yesterday.
Thank you. Is that all, Commissioner Ward?
Yes.
Mr. Young, do you have any? Yes, sir.
As well, I can mention that the faith-based community has an interdenominational pastors who have said as well that they won't be opening up churches. Many of the more well-known and larger churches in town, those pastors have come together. And there's even a YouTube video that they have been circulating on social media to announce that they would continue services for the duration. So I think we have just broad-based support around the community that says right now Albany's not ready, and they're going to continue to do the things we have been doing under the original shelter-in-place ordinance.
Thank you, Commissioner. Anything else? I just have a few comments. I want to applaud, as Commissioner Young said, the faith-based community. The majority of our churches, I don't think, will be having services for the next few weeks. At the meeting that Commissioner Worthington mentioned yesterday, many of our local restaurant owners said they're just not prepared. They don't feel they can protect, at this point in time, their employees and the public until this virus is brought under control. And we know we have declining admissions, which is a favorable sign. For the first time, there are less than 100 patients with COVID-19 at Phoebe Putney. I'd say the first time in several weeks. That's another positive trend. And I also want to say, Commissioner Fletcher was at this meeting yesterday, and she pointed out that a large percentage of the citizens of Albany and Dougherty County are employed in these businesses, restaurants, at gyms, as barbers, as hairstylists. We understand that, and we are sympathetic, but we, in passing this resolution, if this resolution is adopted, are encouraging those individuals and businesses to refrain from opening at this time and until this virus is brought under control. The benchmarks which have been advocated by the medical community throughout the country have obviously not been met here in Albany and Dougherty County. There's actually, and I would commend to you, an article that is going to appear in the New York Times today that says we have the highest per capita mortality rate in the country. It says the population of Albany's MSA is 153,000. So The decision not to accept some communities from the executive order is at this point in time a matter of state law, so we're subject to the governor's decision. But this resolution is exhorting our citizens to take extra precautions and just stay on the course, but until this matter is brought under control. I do want to say something. Commissioner Young was talking about the African-American community having been hit particularly hard by this. That's true. And on the other side, we need to do more to look at the disparities in health outcomes between the minority community and the rest of our citizens. But the reopening of beauty shops and barber salons is not something that's located to South Albany or East Albany. I mean, we all need to be conscious that this virus is still out there. And that's true. Every sector, every demographic is susceptible to this virus. And that's why I support the resolution. I want to say that we are working, as Commissioner Worthington said. We're going to let businesses that choose to open up, we're going to make sure they understand these restrictions that have been imposed upon them. But we're also going to, as businesses do reopen in the coming weeks, we're going to provide them with recommendations for best practices. And I think this will be a template that other communities in the country can use and improve upon as they reopen their economies. But having said that, we would...
Excuse me, Mayor.
Ma'am?
Excuse me, I just received a text from the city manager that Commissioner Fletcher has joined the meeting.
Okay. Good morning, Commissioner Fletcher. Good morning. Would you like to speak to this resolution?
Right now, it is not the time for us to open. We will have to have time to prepare ourselves to open. I've got, I think, 6,500 square feet of dining room. When you go with 10 people per 500 square feet, we have to look at our business model is today. There.
Yes, ma'am.
Yesterday, we got 4 factors most businesses. It's rent or mortgage payment. It's utilities, which I think that if we have folks that are in good standing, I think the utility board needs to step up to the plate, and that if they are getting paid, if they browbeat us over the years, they're going to browbeat us through this. Our supplies, we get a whole week, won't purchase what we don't feel like we need. I went to my bank, a lot of it, we need to look at these banks and landlords giving us a break, but we do have landlords that they can't afford to give a break. So that's going to go, so somebody's going to have to loosen up on the landlord bank so they can loosen up on the tenant. And that's, I agree with all, it's not going to do us any good if we take 1 step forward and 3 steps back. But I also, if this thing comes back strong in 3 or 4 weeks, we're not only going to have to look, I don't want to beach. They're gonna be coming back to the beach. So we have to really be careful on how we handle things, you know, but I promise you, there's people out here that sincerely are a turn feet away from losing their livelihood. You know the difference in them people? They're not used to entitlement payments. They're not gonna know how to get out here and ask us anything, because they've never asked for nothing in their life. This has no thought to their all that they're in shape. So we have to, you know, I don't even think we've had time to really look at guidelines. Some of, you know, I would agree with the resolution, particularly the moving forward with caution. But we have to all restaurants in this town. We had at one time, we had over 400 or something licensed restaurants. And that's not including the food truck. Plus, we have people that are taking advantage of this situation. I've asked Norman, and it's complaint driven. We have people cooking out of home. So if you got time, get these 10,000 emails. Get on Facebook and look at all these people that are selling all of this stuff that have been licensed. Look at these peddlers coming in and selling products just to leave and never know something left. You know, I'm getting feedback that they're not ready for something like that now. They're not, but many of them would like it. I have one scheduled at 1 o'clock tonight. I'm the only person that she's taking. She's sanitizing the place this morning. You know, the gift from the lady that's not shiny, but fixing the place for me. I'm planning on going in there and fixing her very well. Oh, God, too good to me, and I can do it. We need to look at everything. I mean, we need to take a look at everything. This is, you know, Matt Fuller, anybody really ask him, hey, Matt, how's this affecting you? I mean, he is in a position where he's a developer. And I would imagine he is probably trying to figure out how to put these square holes in these houses. Each person is individual. Some of us have been financially set up to where we can ride this time. But I am looking at the ones that can't ride this time out. What are we from the city going to do subject to the resolution? What are we willing to do? We need to talk about that. And we need to talk about the ones that take us. Again, I'm not here trying to help the ones that have been in business and they change accounts so they don't pay the bills. And I know some, I guarantee it, that if the utility department pulls their name, they have to miss the business. That's what we've got to go. What I got to say about it.
Thank you, Commissioner Fletcher.
Mayor, this is Commissioner Fuller. If I might say one quick thing.
Yes, sir.
If there are, if anybody does know any small businesses that are interested in applying to the PPP program, we are a little late in the game, but we feel that round of funding was approved yesterday. I'd be happy to help anybody who knows any small businesses that would like to try to apply for that. It'd be very helpful to help them weather some of this storm. So any commissioner knows a small business that would be interested in that, I'd be happy to speak with anybody to help them with that.
That's certainly appreciated, Commissioner Fuller, and it's my understanding that you're offering to assist any small business who is not familiar with the process for applying for the PPP loan. Is that right?
That's right. So if anybody knows the business, any commissioners that could use some help with it, I'm happy to help.
We appreciate that.
And Mayor, if it's the same, I'll tell you what I'm running to fall on the ones that did get the loan. It's important that they know the paperwork. Looks like the ones that got the loan have a great relationship with your bank, and their paperwork was in order, and you have sometimes a mom and pop that just live out of envelopes. No fault of their own. There is such a struggle to keep their head above water daily. Sometimes at the end of the year, they aren't as prepared on paperwork. And that's one of the, that's one of the things. There is banks, all the banks, I just saw what you noticed, they stopped taking applications because they are just maxed out. But they get supported, that they know, no one will talk to them, they don't have, what is it, Matt, in 2018 return, the payroll return?
Yeah.
Yes, you have at least the 2018 tax return, but also your payroll information, because that's basically what this will be based off of, is your payroll over the last 12 months.
One thing, I mean, we're getting off topic here, I think, but it's a important issue that needs to be addressed. I think we can get city staff. I was on a conference call and the mayor of Phoenix used a term wasn't familiar with. You're talking about struggling businesses, disadvantaged businesses that use what she called underbanking. And she was saying that, just the big banks are very familiar with the requirements, and that some disadvantaged businesses who need it as much or more than anybody else don't have the experience or the knowledge. And that's, I think, what Commissioner Fuller was saying. And certainly, if we can somehow get it out on the public access channel that businesses that need assistance, let's certainly do what we can as a city to help those businesses. But with that, there being no further discussion, would you call the roll, Madam Clerk?
Mayor, can I interject?
Yes, ma'am.
The callers are not being heard on the broadcast. Commissioner Fuller, Commissioner Fletcher were not being heard on the broadcast, letting you all know.
Okay, I'm
But public needs to hear the discussion.
okay.
It's definitely being recorded, so we can make sure we rebroadcast. But I did want to say that we are working on a resource for small business, and the downtown office is going to be leading that along with our Department of Economic and Community Development. And so we also are going to be putting out some information that will be very helpful to the smaller businesses. If they need one-to-one assistance, somebody to literally walk them through the paperwork, help them to understand how to connect, that is being done as well, and we'll be pushing that information out as soon as Monday on how they can connect with us. So we will also pull Commissioner Fuller into that discussion for his personal input and experience, as well as Commissioner Fletcher.
Thank you, Commissioner Fuller, for bringing that to our attention, and also for your offer of assistance. But with that, Madam Clerk, can we call the roll? Call for the vote. I'm sorry.
Ward 1,
Yeah.
2, 3, 4,
Yes.
5, Ward 5, absent, 6, Ward 6,
Yes.
Mayor,
Yes.
that was a unanimous vote, Mayor.
Ma'am?
That was a unanimous vote.
Okay. Any other issues that need to be addressed at this time? With that, we will adjourn the meeting. Thank you. Stay safe. Look forward to seeing you next Tuesday, either in person or virtually.